Greetings, free thinkers, welcome to the Hoggcast, and today I am going to ask you a question. A question that has been on my mind for quite some time, and I would like to know some answers. I would like to know what other people think. I would like to gauge where the public are on this in general, and that's just not here in the United Kingdom, but that is worldwide, because we are all suffering under this lockdown environment that we've been put under. Now, I'm going to ask you, was it all worth it? Is it all worth it? And not only that, what type of society have we become in such a small amount of time? Now, we're going to look at some footage. We're going to look at some footage of some of the more sheep-like people among us in our society and the type of moronic things that they are doing. And we're also going to observe on this footage the most annoying part of human behaviour, and that is a moron who is in the wrong but who thinks they are in the right. So without further ado, let's roll this first clip.
God hates dipshits. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Can you explain?
Give me a little more of that, will you? I love it.
Explain why you're just saying fuck you and being filed there.
These people are risking people's lives, including your own.
They are not.
They are.
Okay, so there's a number of things wrong here from the get-go. First of all, and most important, his blatantly infantile view of the world and his outward projection of his infantilism onto the freedom protesters. For a start, he is being highly immature with his F you this, F you that, the middle finger this, the middle finger that. Not only that, at the end there, when he said they are, or yes they are, in terms of they are endangering people, he even sounded like a child. I'm sure if you go back and replay that part, you will hear he sounds like a child sulking. This is getting away from the fact that the recent and most up-to-date statistics and data, and that's what we should always go on, because hindsight is 2020, as they say. But I'm afraid the statistics, especially in places such as California, a state with millions upon millions of residents, but have only had so far confirmed deaths 1,470. Okay, 1,470, which is less than a fraction of a single percentage point. Now, where is the logic in shutting the entire state down based just on that? And secondly, I would like to address the idea that they are potentially putting people at risk being out there. Well, this is the thing, okay? One, you cannot mollycoddle humanity. You cannot wrap them up in cotton wool and expect them to outwit a potential virus, because let me tell you something, that is not how the human immune system works.
Yeah,
I expect none of these people.
I suppose, don't
I do believe in
You're
science.
so full of
I do
shit.
believe in science.
You're so full of shit.
Okay, yep, science is wrong, yep.
No, science is not wrong, but what is wrong is fantastical fear-mongering projections that projected at first millions of people were going to die, then it was 500,000, then 200,000, then 100,000, now it's below 60,000 and counting. The science is not wrong, but your projections, which you're basing your hysterical opinions off, are wrong. They're demonstrably wrong. They've been proven to be wrong. Projection is based in theory. It's theoretical. Data, raw data, is science. Data is scientific. Projection is theoretical.
Fuck you.
No, science is
Fuck
right.
you. Science is right.
Have you looked at the models, idiot?
Yep, I have looked at the models.
And what do they look like?
Bad.
They go from 2.5 million dead to under 50,000.
Fuck you.
More.
Entirely predictable response from the leftist moron. He can't respond with anything remotely civil, let alone based in common sense, so you get the middle finger. Which, by the way, is a gigantic metaphor for the difference between the left and the right. What you just seen on your screen there in that short clip there was a classic metaphor for the difference between those of us on the right and those of them on the left.
People are killed by the...
Fuck you.
Yeah,
Oh, it's just the flu. I know, it's just the flu. It's a virus. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Yes, post me. Fuck Trump. God hates Trump. God hates dipshits. Fuck you. Thank you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you.
Selfish prick. Fuck you.
Look at your cheap Walmart shoes.
These are actually Reeboks. CrossFit. They're pretty expensive.
That's awesome.
Yeah, get a real job. Get in the-
Says the man who's got nothing better to do with his time or his day to stand there lecturing in the most immature way imaginable people who actually have real jobs and want to get back to their real jobs so they can feed families that you clearly do not have, a real job that you clearly do not have. The only thing you seem to be capable of doing, sir, is projecting your spitefulness on to everyone else.
essential job, you piece of shit. Get an essential job. Fuck you. Get an essential.
So he thinks he's onto a winner now. He's rallied himself a little bit and he thinks, yeah, I've got them where I want them. They need to go and get an essential job. Well, define what is essential for me, because you see, food needs to be packaged by people who generally earn minimum wage. Packing, picking, jobs I have done through most of my life because I am a working class man. I am quote unquote unskilled, so to the likes of someone like him on your screen, my opinion's worthless. But the law as I understand it and the universal rights as I understand them that I was born with, enshrined in law going back to Magna Carta, means that although you might not think my opinion has any value, I still have the right to speak it. And that is exactly what I'm going to do right now, because people who pack food, people who pick the components that go into all kinds of contraptions, medical contraptions for example, are, in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinions, essential workers. Just because they're not on the front lines doesn't mean they are not a part of the team. This goes for everything from the military to hospitals to any type of industry or situation you can think of. On the battlefield, soldiers who shoot the guns are generally gloried, and certainly the generals are gloried, but the radio operators working behind the scenes are just as important.
Job.
Your mom's giving blowjobs?
Fuck you.
Your mom's giving...
Ooh, good one. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Un-American piece of shit. Oh, the right, yeah. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. I can take pictures of other people too. Fuck you. No one wants here. Fuck you. Fuck you. Nice daddy issues. Fuck you and your daddy issues. Fuck you. Fuck you. Get an essential job. Get an essential job. Get an essential job. Get an essential job. Go to work.
I really can't take much more of this fool. He is projecting like his life depends on it. Everything that he's accusing them of, he is not himself. He's not an essential worker. He's saying go and get a job whilst he has been furloughed himself. He's standing on the sidewalk saying that they have daddy issues when he has daddy issues himself. Clearly, he is infantile, as you've seen. He's never been taught how to act properly in a society, as you've seen. This is generally something a father would teach his son, and not only that, he is completely unaware. You see, the thing that really gets me is that this is the type of person who fully supports Antifa knocking down statues and harassing elderly women in the street, but when ordinary, decent, law-abiding American people, citizens, patriots, demand that society reopens so they can go back to work, you fool. They are protesting because they want to go back to work. Anyone who has a job would understand that. Listen, the problem with people like this guy is that he exists to be told what is what. For example, to him, an essential job, an essential worker is whatever the talking head on the TV says is an essential job, an essential worker. I've already given you a number of examples of people who are essential to modern society to function, but this doesn't occur to him because he hasn't been told by the magic talking box in his front room that these people are essential workers. He just goes on. He's the type of person who he is sick if he's told he is sick. For example, if a doctor told him you have a illness, he would then act accordingly, and not only that, he would then tell his family and friends, "Oh, I'm ill. Oh, I've got a sickness. Why? Because the doctor told me so."
God hates dipshits.
He's getting old.
God hates dipshits. Fuck you.
You're a tough guy, huh? Swearing around little kids like that?
You're putting your kids at risk from a virus that is very deadly. And I'm the asshole.
Is this pandemic situation we are living in bad? Yes. Is the illness a contagious one? Yes. Is it as bad as the projections were claiming? Demonstrably no.
Hey, asshole, are you on
Fuck
here?
you.
Are you
I'm
on
sorry
here?
it fell.
No, asshole.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Please stay 6 feet away, sir. Fuck you.
right now?
Fuck you.
Stupid.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
And that's it with that parting word that he has habitually shouted at men, women and children for probably the whole morning. And why has he done that? Because he's got nothing better to do, because he doesn't have a job, but he feels virtuous. He feels oh so virtuous. He feels oh so moral to get on his soapbox and demand that people, business owners, small business owners, medium business owners, he's demanding that they go back to their house and do precisely nothing, which he is not doing himself, by the way. He has made it his business. He has appointed himself to be the spokesman for the new government, the new unelected government, the busybody government, the mandarins who have made it their business to tell us, the ordinary decent people, what we should do, when we should do it and how we should do it. Of course, they don't abide by these rules themselves. I am betting any money that he does not have a mask on. He certainly doesn't sound like he's talking from behind a mask. So what are we to make of that? He's cherry picking the rules that he wants to enforce on other people, whilst he will not abide by them himself, because he is clearly a leftist and their entire mantra is do as thy say, not as thy do. However, the real point of this video was not to roast some inconsequential, dim-witted liberal leftist who is clearly a hypocrite like a lot of them are. That was not the idea behind doing this video. The real problem we have, and he is just a result of the real problem, is that what the government officials have been doing, many of them local government officials, especially in the United States, such as governors, what they have been doing is turning us against each other in the most sinister way. We have just heard today that the gloried Mr. Fauci, the doctor, who does a lot of good. I'm not criticising him as a person, certainly not criticising him as a doctor. However, his recent comments are, in my opinion, simply not called for. He has called for the banning of handshaking. Now, to shake someone's hand is a integral part of gauging social cues, and what you're seeing on your screen at the moment is a man who was arrested for sunbathing. Now, This is absurd. This was in California. Now, I mentioned at the beginning of this video that California is a state with millions upon millions of people who reside there, and they have had only confirmed deaths of just over 1,470, which gives us a mortality rate of far below 1%. So where is the justification in shutting the entire place down? We're seeing the same thing in Texas and in other states. Some of the most badly affected states, like New York, are seeing some fairly suspicious behaviour. A video has been took down. A lot of videos have been taken down, but this video I'm talking about that has been taken down was of 2 New York doctors who were talking about how insane all of these draconian rules are. And what's worrying is how the likes of the police and local authorities are going along with this with relish, only with some notable exceptions. And finally, the image you're about to see on your screen, or what you should be seeing on your screen now, is a woman in the United Kingdom who was arrested simply for taking her dog for a walk. Now, there's been a lot of controversy surrounding things such as people going out and people going to the beach or having a barbecue. The thing is, people are switching out, people are zoning off. We were promised, gleefully I might add, by the mainstream media, we were promised hundreds of thousands of deaths, doom and gloom, everything was bad, everything was chaos, everything was gonna just implode, and I'm afraid to say we didn't get it. And as usual, the so-called experts were wrong. It seems to me like the experts only ever seem to go for the worst case scenario all the time, and when the actual data does not meet their projections, they seem to react quite negatively to that and quite hostilely to that. Anyway, thank you for watching this video, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something new. Let me know what you think in the comment sections below. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and most importantly, share this video, because that helps me stay in competition with the likes of the mainstream media who YouTube has chosen to prioritize. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.